Mystery has always been one of the most powerful forces in human attraction, and when it comes to keeping a woman intrigued, it is no different. What captures her attention is not only what she knows about you, but also what she doesn't know. When every detail of your life is revealed too soon, there is nothing left for her to discover, nothing left to imagine, and curiosity slowly fades away. A woman thrives on curiosity because it makes her mind return to you even when you are not there. She wonders about what you are doing, what you are thinking, what makes you tick. This isn't about playing manipulative games. It's about living authentically in a way that reveals your layers naturally, instead of dumping everything all at once. When she feels like she is on a journey of discovery with you, every encounter becomes an experience worth remembering. Think about the most compelling stories you have ever read, or the most captivating movies you have watched. They don't give you the ending at the beginning. Instead, they draw you in with layers, with suspense, with curiosity about what will happen next. Relationships work much the same way. If you become an open book too quickly, she feels she has already read your story and there is no need to keep turning the pages. But if your character unfolds over time, if she sees new qualities, new passions, and new depths to who you are, then she becomes emotionally invested. This type of mystery creates anticipation, and anticipation is one of the strongest drivers of attraction. It keeps her looking forward to the next moment with you because she knows there is always something more to uncover. Mystery is not about being secretive or distant. It is about being intentional with what you reveal and when. Too much secrecy creates suspicion, but a healthy balance of openness and unpredictability creates fascination. You can be transparent about your values, your intentions, and your respect for her, while still keeping an element of surprise alive in the way you move through life. She doesn't need to know every detail of your daily routine, nor should you feel pressured to constantly update her about your whereabouts. Sometimes it is the silence in between conversations that allows her imagination to play, and when you finally reconnect, she feels an even greater excitement. It's in those small spaces of the unknown where curiosity is born and attraction is sustained. A man who is mysterious in the right way has an aura of depth that women find irresistible. When she looks at you, she should feel that there is more beneath the surface than what she currently sees. It could be in the way you pursue your passions without always explaining every detail. It could be in the way you carry yourself, with confidence that suggests you know who you are and where you are going. It could be in the way you tell just enough of a story to spark her curiosity, but not enough to close the loop immediately. This creates a rhythm in your interactions, a dance of reveal and withhold, where she feels pulled closer, yet always wanting to know a little more. That balance between openness and mystery is what keeps her hooked. Women are naturally intuitive and often crave emotional depth. If you present everything on the surface, she may feel like she can predict you too easily. But when you allow your different dimensions to unfold gradually, she feels like she is peeling back layers of a puzzle, each one more rewarding than the last. For instance, sharing a new perspective after weeks of knowing her, or revealing a hidden talent she had no idea about sparks new interest. She realizes you are not static, you are evolving, and this evolution keeps her emotionally engaged. Curiosity is addictive, and when she is curious about you, her energy naturally flows toward you. That energy is what sustains the bond long after the initial spark. Mystery also works because it ties into one of the strongest desires a woman has in a relationship, the desire to feel continuously drawn toward her partner. Many men think that the key is constant availability, but constant availability often creates monotony. Instead, being intentional about when and how much you reveal adds texture to the relationship. For example, instead of answering every question with lengthy details, sometimes give short but meaningful responses that invite her to lean in and ask more. When you create space for her curiosity, she invests effort into discovering you. That effort, in turn, deepens her attachment. The more she feels she is learning about you, the more she wants to stay close because every day with you feels like a new chapter in the story. Mystery and unpredictability also show up in the way you design your experiences together. If every date follows the same pattern, she knows exactly what to expect, and over time, the excitement dwindles. But when you occasionally introduce a new idea, a new location, or a new way of spending time, you surprise her in a way that reignites her energy. These don't have to be grand gestures. Sometimes, the smallest change can have the biggest impact. The point is to create moments that she doesn't always see coming, moments that remind her that life with you is never dull. This type of unpredictability keeps her emotionally invested because she associates you with excitement, curiosity, and fulfillment. It's important to understand that mystery is not about withholding love or being emotionally unavailable. In fact, the opposite is true. You should be emotionally open enough to make her feel secure, while also maintaining enough individuality to keep her intrigued. The balance lies in knowing when to share deeply and when to let things unfold naturally over time. For example, you don't need to narrate every detail of your struggles all at once. but you can open up gradually in ways that deepen her trust while keeping her curious. She should feel both comforted by your presence and eager to know more about the depths of your mind and heart. That duality is what keeps her hooked on you. Another powerful element of mystery is how you carry yourself when you're not together. If she knows you have a life full of purpose, goals, and activities beyond her, she automatically respects and desires you more. A man who is too idle, too available, or too desperate loses his sense of intrigue quickly. But a man who is engaged in his passions, pursuing his purpose, and developing himself creates natural curiosity. She begins to wonder what new achievements or experiences you will bring into the relationship next. This sense of forward momentum makes her feel like she is connected to someone dynamic, and that keeps her attention fixed on you. At its core, mystery is the art of letting her discover you piece by piece, never in one overwhelming moment. It's the rhythm of giving just enough for her to hold on to, while leaving space for her to reach out and want more. It's about embodying depth, passion, and purpose in a way that naturally draws her curiosity. When a woman feels both safe in your presence and intrigued by your layers, she becomes emotionally invested. That emotional investment is what sustains attraction beyond the surface, beyond the ordinary, and into the extraordinary. Would you like me to expand Keynote 2 in the same way? 900 words, 10 lines per paragraph, no headings, so we can start building this into a full motivational script step by step. Confidence is the silent force that speaks louder than words, and it is one of the strongest elements that keeps a woman drawn to you. When a man carries himself with confidence, it signals to her that he is sure of who he is and what he stands for. This confidence doesn't need to be loud, arrogant, or boastful. It is quiet, steady, and undeniable. A confident man doesn't need validation from everyone around him because he is rooted in his own self-worth. Women find this energy deeply attractive because it creates a sense of security. She knows she is dealing with someone who won't crumble under pressure, who won't easily be swayed by other people's opinions. That inner strength becomes a magnet, pulling her closer, because every woman wants to feel that the man she is with can lead himself and, by extension, lead her. Confidence shows up in the small things, not just in the grand gestures. It's in the way you enter a room with your head held high, in the way you make eye contact without shying away, and in the way you speak with clarity instead of hesitation. A woman notices these details more than you think. She notices how you handle rejection, how you deal with setbacks, and how you remain composed when life throws challenges your way. It is in those moments that she evaluates your strength, and it is in those moments that confidence separates you from the rest. Confidence is not about pretending to have it all figured out. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that, no matter what happens, you can handle it. That trust in yourself is what makes her trust you too. Women are naturally drawn to emotional leadership, and confidence is the foundation of that. Emotional leadership doesn't mean controlling her or dictating her life. It means being able to manage your emotions in a way that inspires stability in the relationship. If you lose control at every inconvenience, if you panic at every small problem, she begins to doubt your strength. But when you remain calm under pressure, when you show resilience even when things aren't perfect, she feels a sense of safety around you. That safety is what allows her to relax and open up emotionally. Confidence provides a strong container for her emotions, which can sometimes be intense, and your ability to hold that space without being shaken makes her feel both valued and protected. Confidence also shows in the boundaries you set. A man who is confident doesn't fear saying no when something doesn't align with his values. He doesn't bend over backward just to please a woman, because he knows that his worth is not tied to constant approval. Women respect men who stand firm in their principles, even if they disagree at times. This is because boundaries show self-respect, and self-respect is deeply attractive. A woman stays hooked when she knows that you won't compromise your integrity just to win her over. Instead, she sees you as someone she can look up to, someone who leads with authenticity. That type of emotional leadership, built on confidence, makes her feel safe enough to admire you and stay invested. There is also an undeniable charisma that confidence creates. When a man is confident, people naturally want to be around him, not because he is the loudest in the room, but because his energy commands attention. He doesn't force it, it just happens. Women pick up on this energy instantly. They see how others respond to you, how you carry yourself, and how you treat people with both strength and respect. That balance of power and kindness is irresistible. It tells her that she is dealing with someone who doesn't just have external influence, but someone who also knows how to carry responsibility with grace. This type of confidence doesn't just attract her, it makes her want to stay connected, because she feels elevated by being in your presence. Confidence in relationships also means knowing your worth and not chasing validation. Many men lose a woman's interest because they become too desperate for approval, texting constantly, seeking reassurance, and acting out of fear rather than strength. A confident man, however, doesn't beg for love, he attracts it by who he is. He understands that his value doesn't decrease just because one person doesn't see it. This mindset creates abundance, not scarcity, and women can sense that. When she feels that you want her but don't need her to validate your worth, she respects you more. That balance between desire and independence is what keeps her intrigued and committed. Confidence is also about making decisions and standing by them. Women are naturally drawn to men who can take initiative, who can say, "Let's do this," instead of always waiting for direction. This doesn't mean ignoring her opinions or making choices without her. It means showing decisiveness and clarity instead of passivity. A confident man knows that indecision creates frustration and doubt, while decisiveness creates security. When you make choices with clarity, she feels she can trust your leadership. Even if things don't go perfectly, the fact that you can act, adapt, and keep moving forward is what matters most. That reliability keeps her emotionally invested because she feels she can lean on you when needed. Another layer of confidence is vulnerability, the ability to show your authentic self without fear. Many men confuse vulnerability with weakness, but in reality, it is a mark of strength. A man who is confident enough to express his emotions, to admit when he doesn't know everything, and to share his dreams and fears creates a deeper bond with a woman. She doesn't just see a strong exterior, she sees the human behind it. That duality, strength mixed with vulnerability, is what creates irresistible depth. It tells her that you are not performing a role, but living authentically. Authenticity is magnetic, and when it's combined with confidence, it becomes nearly impossible for her to pull away. Confidence also creates consistency, and consistency is one of the greatest gifts in a relationship. A man who is confident in himself doesn't flip-flop between moods, doesn't act one way today and another tomorrow just to impress. Instead, he shows up as the same steady, reliable version of himself day after day. This consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of emotional connection. A woman stays hooked not just because of the highs of passion, but because of the stability of knowing who you are. When she feels both excitement and reliability from you, her emotional bond grows stronger. Confidence is what allows you to provide both. At its core, confidence is not about dominance or superiority. It is about balance, between strength and humility, between leadership and listening, between independence and connection. When a man embodies this type of confidence, he becomes magnetic in a way that lasts far beyond the initial attraction. Women don't just notice confidence, they feel it. They feel it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you make decisions, and in the way you remain steady in the face of life's storms. That feeling of stability, combined with the spark of inspiration, is what keeps her hooked on you, because she sees in you not just a partner, but a leader worth following. Would you like me to expand Keynote 3 next in the same 900-word 10-line paragraph style so the entire motivational speech builds seamlessly? Consistency is one of the most underrated qualities in a relationship, yet it is one of the strongest forces that keeps a woman deeply attached. When a man shows up consistently in his words, his actions, and his intentions, a woman feels safe enough to invest her emotions. But consistency alone is not enough. If it turns into predictability without spark, attraction fades. This is where the delicate balance between stability and challenge comes in. A woman wants to know that you are dependable, that you will not disappear when things get difficult, but she also wants to feel that there is still room for growth, for excitement, and for energy that pushes her out of her comfort zone. That combination of reliability and challenge is what keeps her engaged, because it reassures her heart while igniting her curiosity. Consistency is about proving through actions, not just words, that you are who you claim to be. Many men make promises in the heat of passion, only to fall short when the emotions settle. But a woman measures your character not by what you say once, but by what you do repeatedly over time. Do you follow through on commitments? Do you keep your word even when it is inconvenient? Do you show up in the same energy on the difficult days as you do on the easy ones? These are the questions she unconsciously asks when she evaluates your consistency. A man who is stable in this way becomes a pillar in her life, someone she can lean on without fear that the ground will suddenly disappear beneath her feet. That security creates emotional attachment stronger than fleeting gestures. At the same time, too much stability without variation can create stagnancy. If every conversation sounds the same, every date looks identical, and every day together feels predictable, she may start to lose the spark of curiosity that keeps attraction alive. This is where the art of challenge enters. Challenge is not about conflict or unnecessary drama. It's about creating moments that stretch her, inspire her, and make her feel alive. A woman stays hooked when she feels that being with you is both grounding and stimulating. You provide her with consistency in loyalty and care, but you also give her the thrill of unpredictability in experiences, conversations, and energy. It is this tension between comfort and excitement that sustains her emotional investment over time. Challenge also shows up in how you encourage her growth. A woman doesn't want a man who simply agrees with everything she says or lets her coast without effort. She is drawn to a man who believes in her potential enough to push her toward it, even when it is uncomfortable. This could mean calling her out gently when she is holding herself back, inspiring her to step into new opportunities, or showing her perspectives that she hasn't considered. When you challenge her in this way, you are not creating resistance, you are creating growth. She feels that she becomes a better version of herself by being with you. And that sense of evolution keeps her hooked. Relationships that stay stagnant often die, but relationships that push both partners toward growth remain vibrant. A woman also appreciates a man who challenges her emotionally, not by creating unnecessary fights, but by refusing to let her settle into unhealthy patterns. For example, if she avoids difficult conversations, a man who calmly but firmly insists on addressing them demonstrates leadership and depth. If she tries to test boundaries, a man who responds with firmness instead of weakness earns her respect. These small moments of challenge communicate to her that you are not afraid of tension, that you value growth over comfort. This type of energy keeps her intrigued because she knows she cannot predict or control you completely. Instead, she learns to admire you as a partner who inspires her to rise higher. That admiration is what anchors her emotionally. Consistency and challenge together create polarity, the dynamic energy that fuels attraction. Too much consistency without challenge turns into boredom, while too much challenge without consistency turns into instability. But when you embody both, she feels like she is in a relationship that has roots and wings at the same time. The roots provide her with the grounding of loyalty, dependability, and emotional safety, while the wings give her the freedom to dream, grow, and evolve with excitement. This polarity keeps her hooked because she feels both secure and stimulated. She knows that she can count on you, but she also knows that she can never completely predict you, and that balance is intoxicating. Consistency also reassures her on a subconscious level. Many women have experienced inconsistency in the past. Men who were present one day and absent the next, men who said all the right things but failed to back them up with actions. When you show consistency, you heal that doubt within her, and she begins to trust not just you, but the relationship itself. That trust allows her to open up emotionally in ways she otherwise wouldn't. But when you add the element of challenge, by surprising her with your depth, by sparking her curiosity, by inspiring her growth, she doesn't just feel safe, she feels alive. This dual experience of safety and aliveness is rare, and once a woman feels it, she does not easily let it go. The truth is, consistency without challenge can make her take you for granted, while challenge without consistency can make her feel unsafe. This is why the balance is so powerful. A woman feels deeply connected to a man who is predictable in his loyalty, but unpredictable in his energy. She wants to know that you will always respect her, that you will always protect her, that you will always be loyal. But she also wants to be surprised by your wit, your passion, and your ability to keep things fresh. That is what keeps her emotionally invested for the long term. She knows that with you, life will never be dull, but it will always be dependable. That mixture is rare, and rarity is what keeps her hooked. The art of consistency with a touch of challenge ultimately creates a dynamic where she never feels neglected, yet never feels complacent. She knows you are steady, but she also knows you are not ordinary. She sees you as her anchor, yet also as the spark that lights her fire. It is this balance that makes her hold on, because she feels she has found someone who is both her safe place and her inspiration. And once a woman feels both safety and excitement in one man, she doesn't just stay, she invests her whole heart, because she recognizes that she has found something worth holding on to. Would you like me to expand Keynote 4 next in the same 900-word, 10-line paragraph style so we continue building this into a full-length speech? Emotional depth is one of the strongest magnets in a relationship, and it is something that many men underestimate. A woman does not just want to see the surface of who you are, she wants to feel the essence of your soul. When you allow her to glimpse your inner world, you create a bond that transcends physical attraction. But this is not about oversharing or pouring out every thought without boundaries. It is about knowing when to reveal parts of yourself that make you human, relatable, and authentic. Emotional depth shows her that you are not just a role or an image, you are a man with dreams, fears, values, and experiences that shape who you are. That sense of authenticity keeps her hooked because she feels she is connecting with a real person, not a performance. Vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness, but in truth, it is a sign of confidence and strength. A man who is secure enough to open up about his struggles, his failures, or even his insecurities shows her that he has nothing to hide. This vulnerability builds trust because it tells her that you are not trying to impress her with perfection, but instead, you are letting her into the reality of who you are. When she feels trusted with your vulnerability, she begins to trust you more deeply in return. This cycle of openness and trust strengthens the emotional foundation of the relationship. Women crave this type of connection because it allows them to feel safe enough to express their own emotions fully, creating a partnership where both hearts can be seen and heard. Emotional depth is also about the way you listen and respond. Many men hear words but do not truly listen, and women can sense the difference immediately. To truly connect, you must listen with the intention of understanding, not just replying. When she shares her fears or her dreams, she is offering you a piece of her inner world. If you dismiss it or brush it off, she feels unseen. But if you lean in, ask questions, and validate her feelings, she feels valued. That validation creates a sense of intimacy that keeps her emotionally invested. She realizes that with you, she can reveal parts of herself that she may not share with anyone else. That unique access to her heart is what keeps her drawn to you over time. A man with emotional depth is not afraid to explore the difficult conversations. Instead of avoiding conflict or shutting down when emotions rise, he is willing to sit in the discomfort and work through it. This willingness to engage in emotional honesty communicates strength because it shows her that you can handle the intensity of real connection. Many men run when things get tough, but a man who stays, listens, and works through challenges demonstrates resilience. This resilience reassures her that the relationship will not crumble under pressure, and it makes her more willing to invest her emotions fully. That courage to face the uncomfortable moments is what makes the connection deeper, more meaningful, and lasting. Emotional depth also comes from having passions, values, and a vision for your life. A man who is shallow or directionless may attract temporary interest, but he struggles to keep a woman hooked. On the other hand, when you have dreams you are pursuing, when you stand firm in your values, and when you live with purpose, she feels inspired by you. She doesn't just see a man she can love, she sees a man she can admire. That admiration fuels attraction because she feels that being with you is not just about romance, but also about aligning with a life that is meaningful. When your emotional depth connects with purpose, you become a source of inspiration as well as affection, and that combination is irresistible. Another element of emotional depth is empathy, the ability to feel with her, not just for her. When she is going through struggles, she doesn't just need solutions, she needs presence. A man who can sit with her pain without rushing to fix it shows her that he understands the language of the heart. Empathy is powerful because it creates a mirror. She feels that her emotions are reflected and validated, not minimized. This level of connection makes her feel emotionally safe, and safety is what allows her to open up fully. When she can cry in front of you, laugh with you, and share her rawest emotions without fear of judgment, she knows she has found someone rare. That emotional sanctuary keeps her hooked in ways physical attraction alone never could. Emotional vulnerability also strengthens intimacy because it creates layers of closeness that cannot be manufactured. When you share your childhood memories, your lessons from failures, or even the fears you are working through, you give her access to a part of you that others may never see. This sense of exclusivity is powerful. It makes her feel chosen, trusted, and significant. She feels that she knows you in ways others don't, and that sense of privilege deepens her bond to you. It makes her protective of the connection, unwilling to let go easily because she recognizes its rarity. Emotional depth transforms the relationship from something casual into something profound. At the same time, it is important to balance vulnerability with strength. Emotional depth does not mean you unload every problem onto her or collapse under pressure. It means you have the courage to share your truth while also demonstrating resilience. A woman wants to feel that you can be real with her, but she also wants to know that you are strong enough to carry your own weight. This balance creates respect because she sees you as both human and capable. Too much guardedness makes you seem distant, while too much openness without strength makes you seem weak. The balance of vulnerability and resilience creates the perfect emotional magnetism that keeps her intrigued and connected. Emotional depth also manifests in how you express love. Instead of generic compliments, you notice the details. Her tone when she's excited, her silence when she's upset, the small things she does that others may overlook. By acknowledging and appreciating these nuances, you show her that you don't just see her surface, you see her essence. This type of attention creates intimacy that words alone cannot achieve. A woman craves to be known deeply, and when you provide that recognition, she feels emotionally satisfied. That satisfaction is what keeps her invested, because she knows she is not just loved, but understood. Understanding is the ultimate form of intimacy, and it is born from emotional depth. Ultimately, emotional depth makes a woman feel that being with you is more than a relationship. It is a journey of discovery. Every time you share a new layer of yourself, every time you connect with her emotions, every time you show empathy and strength together, you invite her deeper into your world. And every time she feels more connected to you, her attachment grows stronger. This ongoing cycle of discovery and connection is what keeps her hooked, because she knows she is not just with a man, but with a soul that she can explore endlessly. And that kind of connection is not only rare, it is unforgettable. Would you like me to expand Keynote 5 in the same 900-word, 10-line paragraph style so the full set is complete? Presence is one of the most powerful yet overlooked qualities that makes a woman feel truly connected, and it is what often keeps her emotionally hooked. In a world filled with endless distractions, the man who can be fully present stands out as extraordinary. Presence means giving her your undivided attention when you are with her, not half listening while scrolling through your phone or letting your mind wander to other things. When she speaks and you truly listen, she feels valued in a way that words alone cannot achieve. Presence communicates that she is not competing with anything else for your attention, and that makes her feel prioritized. This feeling of being the center of your focus is intoxicating because it touches one of her deepest needs, the need to feel seen and cherished. Being present is not just about being physically there. It is about emotional availability. Many men assume that showing up is enough, but presence is more than that. It's about noticing the subtleties in her tone, her expressions, and her body language. It's about picking up on the little cues that reveal her emotional state and responding in a way that shows you care. When she senses that you can tune into her on this deeper level, she feels safe and understood. Women remember how a man makes them feel more than what he says, and presence is what creates those unforgettable feelings. She knows that when she is with you, she is not invisible, but instead fully acknowledged in her wholeness. Presence also creates intimacy in everyday interactions. It's not always about the grand gestures or expensive dates, but the quality of attention you bring to the small moments. When you share a meal, are you truly engaged in the conversation, or are you distracted by your thoughts? When she tells you about her day, do you ask meaningful questions, or do you give short, distracted answers? The man who is present in the small, ordinary moments builds intimacy that lasts beyond temporary sparks. She feels that she can open up to you about anything because you will not only hear her, but actually absorb her words. This intimacy becomes a glue that binds her to you emotionally. Another aspect of presence is remembering the details. When she shares something important with you, whether it's a story from her childhood or a goal she is working toward, holding on to that information and bringing it up later shows her that you listen deeply. This level of attention makes her feel significant because it proves that her words matter to you. Many men forget these details and miss the opportunity to build emotional connection, but the man who remembers and acknowledges them creates a lasting impression. It's not about having a perfect memory, but about demonstrating that you value what she shares enough to keep it with you. This creates a sense of intimacy where she feels truly known, and being truly known keeps her hooked. Presence also means being emotionally attuned in moments of vulnerability. When she is upset or hurt, the instinct for many men is to rush to solutions, but sometimes all she needs is your attentive presence. Sitting with her emotions without judgment, letting her cry, and simply being there can be far more powerful than fixing the problem. It tells her that you can hold space for her feelings, that you are strong enough to let her be fragile without trying to escape or shut down. This creates a bond of trust because she knows that she can be fully herself around you, even in her rawest moments. That trust translates into deeper attachment because she feels emotionally safe in your presence. Presence also communicates respect. When you put aside distractions to focus on her, you are essentially saying, "You matter to me, and this moment matters." Respect is one of the most attractive qualities a man can show because it makes her feel valued as an individual. A woman will quickly lose interest in someone who constantly divides his attention, but she will remain invested in a man who shows her through presence that she is a priority. This respect builds admiration, and admiration deepens attraction. It transforms the relationship from a casual connection into something meaningful. Because she knows she is not just an option, you make her feel like a choice. Beyond the emotional benefits, presence also creates excitement and anticipation. When a man is fully engaged in the moment, he has the power to make ordinary experiences feel extraordinary. A simple walk, a conversation over coffee, or even silence together can feel magical when he is fully present. Women crave this kind of connection because it makes them feel alive. She doesn't have to guess if you are distracted or wondering about something else. She knows your energy is with her in that moment. That ability to make her feel alive in the simplest interactions is what keeps her hooked, because she associates you with feelings of depth and meaning. Presence is also about energy, the vibe you bring when you are with her. A distracted, restless energy makes her feel neglected, but a calm, centered energy makes her feel grounded. When you are present, you radiate stability, and that stability is deeply attractive. She feels that she can lean into your presence and find comfort in it. At the same time, your energy fuels her excitement because she knows you are fully invested in sharing the moment with her. This dual effect of calm and excitement is rare, and when she experiences it, she doesn't want to let it go. Presence, therefore, is not just about attention. It is about the quality of energy you bring to the connection. Presence requires discipline because it means putting away distractions and making intentional choices. It's easy to be physically there but mentally absent, and many men fall into that trap. But when you discipline yourself to fully engage, to put away the phone, to silence the noise in your mind, you create a rare gift. Women notice the difference instantly, and they treasure it. A man who is present consistently makes her feel valued, respected, and understood, and that combination is powerful enough to sustain attraction. When she feels that you give her your full presence, she doesn't just enjoy the moment, she begins to crave it. because it becomes the standard by which she measures true connection. In the end, presence is the most powerful love language you can offer. Words may fade, looks may change, but the way you make her feel when you are fully there remains unforgettable. When you are present, you create memories that linger, emotions that stay, and bonds that grow stronger with time. She feels like she is not just another person in your life, but the one who holds your focus in your heart. That feeling is what keeps her hooked, because presence is rare, and what is rare is always valuable. A man who masters presence will never struggle to keep a woman invested, because she will feel something that very few men give her: the gift of being truly seen.